Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new podcast in which we discuss Denver sporting news. We break down the games and we talk about what's to come for the teams we love, all through the lens of a bettor. This is yet again the Denver Dollar, and I am your host, Daniel Shalansky. Without further ado, let's get to it. The date today is January 27th, 2021. The Nuggets are on game 4 of their 5-game road streak. Tonight they match up against the Miami Heat in Miami. Now, just some important things to discuss before we talk about the numbers in this game. The Nuggets are on a 4-game winning streak, while the Heat are on a 3-game losing streak. One thing that I usually like to do that I'm actually not going to do for this game is I like to bet against streaks. You know, teams that are winning are sure to regress at some point, and teams that are losing are sure to kick it into high gear and regress back also at some point. They're likely to regress back to a win, and a team that is consistently winning is likely to regress back to a loss. Now, the reason I'm not considering, that line of logic for this game is because there are a bunch of Heat injuries that will really hamper them on both ends of the court, on the offensive end and the defensive end. But one reason why I do like to adopt this strategy is because when a team is winning consistently, Vegas starts to adjust their odds. And while a team is winning, I think that actually it doesn't make them more likely to lose, but you can expect some sort of regression. And I think that at that point, Vegas begins to overvalue their win streak and give them way too good odds of a win, and give the underdog way too bad odds to actually pull it out. So I think that, the value is usually there to bet against a streak due to how Vegas tends to overvalue those streaks. But again, let me talk about injuries that might lead me to think otherwise in this game. On the Denver side of the ball, PJ Dozier pulled his hamstring in the last game against the Mavericks in Dallas that was played on Monday. So PJ Dozier, he's considered day-to-day, but I would not expect him in this game. In his absence, RJ Hampton got, several important minutes in that game, and he was impressive. He was kind of doing the same thing as PJ Dozier. Sure, he didn't score. PJ Dozier's been, somewhat reliable on the offensive end when he doesn't get absolute tunnel vision and turn the ball over. RJ Hampton was flying everywhere. He was, kind of a beast on the offensive boards. He didn't actually secure an offensive board, but he tried to bat a ton away back to our teammates. He really made the Mavericks hustle way more than they wanted to. He was everywhere on the glass, crashing the boards, crashing the glass on the offensive side of the ball. I would expect RJ Hampton to get the minutes that PJ Dozier has, won't be getting in this game. I would also expect Will Barton to get some more of those minutes since Michael Porter Jr. has come back, and he scored 30 points last game. He's a player that should be getting 30 plus minutes every single night. With his reemergence, Will Barton only got 20 minutes in the first game, or in the most recent game against the Suns. But when PJ Dozier got hurt, him and Will Barton do similar things on the basketball court. So Will Barton did get those normal starter minutes that he was accustomed to, due to the fact that PJ Dozier and Jamal Murray were both absent from that game, as Jamal Murray punched Tim Hardaway Jr. in the balls, made sure that he wouldn't be having Tim Hardaway III. Again, also absent for the Nuggets is Greg Whittington. We don't know what this guy's even like. We haven't seen him on the basketball court. Doesn't matter for how we bet. Now, in the Heat, there are 8 players that are either day-to-day or already ruled out for this game. And let me tell you, there are some pretty significant players for the Heat. Sure, their best player in Bam Adebayo will be active in this game, but outside of him, they're missing pretty much all of their other good players. Jimmy Butler is out of this game due to health and safety protocols, so he will not be playing, and that's already been established. Tyler Hero is considered day-to-day, but he is not expected to play in this game. Goran Dragic is considered day-to-day. He might play in this game. He's really considered a game-time decision, but even if he does, expect limited minutes out of Goran Dragic. Avery Bradley has already been ruled out. Mo Harkless has already been ruled out. Myers Leonard has been ruled out. And then they just have, so these are just some other depth pieces. Gabe Vincent and Chris Silva will not be present in this game either. So they can barely even field that, lineup of 8 players that is required to not forfeit any given game. Their starting lineup is shaking out to be Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Andre Iguodala, Kelly Olynyk, and Bam Adebayo, with perhaps Goran Dragic starting in place of Kendrick Nunn if he is able to play in this game. Now, their backup guys, if Goran Dragic plays, then Kendrick Nunn will be able to spell him, and they'll have 3 guards available. As for big men, they have outside of Kelly Olynyk and Bam Adebayo, they have two guys that are behind him on the depth chart in Precious Achiuwa and KZ Okpala. Now, both of those guys are only 6'8". Both of them are 21 years old. They're both really young. They both haven't really been on the court much at all, barring garbage time this season. And those are their only two available big guys, not named Kelly Olynyk and Bam Adebayo. So those will be the dudes spelling, the starting big guys for the Heat, unless we see a rare Udonis Haslem sighting. But those will be the guys, and expect JaMychal Green, expect our big guys, Nikola Jokic, to absolutely feast on those dudes, given the chance. I don't expect this to be a close game. They are missing way too many key players, and they've been really, really struggling as of late. I like the Nuggets in this game. So that's kind of the pre-statistical analysis. Let's dive into some numbers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to talk about the money line. I'm going to talk about the spread. I'm going to talk about the total points. And then I'll discuss how to maximize what we think will happen according to the game scripts that we are predicting due to, we'll be able to pick parlays that we like. We'll look at parlays that we like. We will look at individual team totals, and we will look at the three-way money line. After that, we'll discuss player prop bets, player specials, and we will finish the show with our patented tip-off analysis. So stick around for the end. Our tip-off analysis is fantastic. So far on the season, we are 13 of 17 predicting who will win the tip-off, which team will gain initial possession, and that's really, insightful information that's really indicative of which team and which player will score first. There's a lot of money to be made there. Don't forget to stick around to the end. So, again, diving into some numbers. The money line. In this game, the Nuggets are the favorite for all the reasons I just highlighted. They are locked in at a money line of minus 230, whereas the Heat are locked in at plus 188. Now, I am not taking the money line, but I would, if someone were holding a gun to my head, I would absolutely take the Nuggets. Now again, before I forgot to mention this earlier, I'm putting $5 down on every single bet that I recommend on the podcast for maximum transparency. On the season so far, putting $5 down on each bet. The first game of the season, I put down $195. I made 39 predictions. I made 39 bets that I considered good value. And since dropping that initial $195, I'm up 11%. What other investment would net you, 11% unless you're putting money into GameStop at this point? Anyway, so I so far it's proven to be very beneficial. This, new method of transparency is winning money. Like, there's not a better investment that you can make, 11% of your original input in, the course of less than a week. So at the end of the month, I'm going to cut it short and start a new cycle. But so far for this month of January, I am plus 11% of my initial input. Think of it like a good investment. I'm not telling you which bets will hit. I'm telling you which bets are good value and you should put your money on. And it's a large sample size. So far, I've taken a total of 111 bets, and I'm still plus 11%. That is a large sample size, so you can trust the numbers that I'm reporting at so far. So now, sorry for that aside, on to the spread. The Nuggets are again the favorites. The spread is locked in at -6 for them and +6 for the Heat. It's in true pick'em fashion, minus 110 for the Nuggets, minus 110 for the Heat. I'm tentatively betting on the Nuggets here, and it's not because I doubt the starting unit. I think the Nuggets are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it pretty handily. If we, played our game with our normal rotations, I would absolutely have no fear in putting money on the Nuggets spread of -6. So why am I scared? I'm scared of the four horsemen of garbage time. I'm scared of Marcus Hampton. I'm scared of Bol Bol. I'm scared of Zeke Naji, and I'm terrified of Vlatko Kankar. Those guys get in, around the last 3 minutes of every game, and they absolutely mess up spreads. They absolutely mess shit up for the Denver Nuggets when they get in. They're terrible. We saw it in the 76ers game was the last time that we saw absolute garbage time that they were able to play. With 2 minutes left in the game, the Nuggets were winning by 22 points. We had the over on 13.5, or not the over, we had this Nugget spread of minus 13.5 points. The Nuggets were winning by 22 points with 2 minutes left. Lo and behold, the four horsemen of garbage time go in, and the Nuggets only win the game by a margin of 12 points. It was atrocious. In the last 2 minutes, they lost 12-2. Did the four horsemen of garbage time to a bunch of tired, bench guys for the Sixers. They're terrible, and what I'm especially scared of is there's not a lot of availability on the Heat side of the ball. That means if the four horsemen of garbage time go in for the Nuggets, the Heats will not be able to match them with their own garbage time guys. They'll likely have to keep in some of the guys that have been playing all game, even against our starters, because they have they have such limited availability when it comes to players' health and players' availability due to health and safety protocols. So I am doing it. I'm putting $5 on it, but it's kind of scary for me. Just keep that in mind because of the four horsemen of garbage time for the Nuggets. But I'm taking the Nuggets in the spread. I'm not buying a teaser. I'm too scared to buy a teaser. I would only be hurting my value if I buy a teaser. Not doing it. Now let's talk about total points in this game. The game is set at 219.5 points in the game. I'm taking the over there, and let me tell you why. The Nuggets are averaging 116.8 points per game. That's the number 3 points per game in the NBA this season. No one is doubting their, offensive abilities. What their issue is what comes on defense. But that's great. That leads to a bunch of high-scoring games in which the Nuggets play in. They've hit the over. They've played 17 games this season. They've hit the over on 11 of their 17 games this season in terms of total points for the Nuggets and their opponents combined. It so far has been a good bet to take the over when betting on the Nugs. So they're averaging 116.8 per game. The Heat are averaging 107.8. That is not that good. That puts them at number 24 in the league in terms of offensive output. But if you combine the two, you're looking at 224.6 points per game. Now, the Heat do have a stellar defense, so you can expect the Nuggets numbers to drop off a bit, or at least you normally would. But, considering all their injuries, considering all the guys that they have absent, they're really putting together a ragtag group of individuals, and I am not that scared of their defense this game. And again, the Nuggets defense is not that good. I would expect the Heat to score a little bit more than their normal output, despite missing a bunch of key players. I like the over in this game. Now, because I just talked about the money line, I talked about the spread, I'm going to tell you how to maximize your money if you are confident in those bets. And the answer is to take a parlay. I am taking the Nuggets in the over. I locked in at plus 170. The reason I'm not taking the spread is because, you are getting way better value with the spread. I'm going to minimize my losses. I'm scared of the four horsemen of garbage time. I'm already taking them in the spread by itself. I'm not taking the Nuggets in the normal money line, so I might as well hedge some bets. Instead of, I'm locked in at plus 170 instead of plus 255. So my value is hurting a lot here, but I think it is, the reward is not worth the safety in this bet that I'm taking. I like the safety with the Nuggets money line instead of the Nuggets spread here. I'm already taking the Nuggets spread. So, again, Nuggets money line combined with the over plus 170. I like that bet. I'm taking it. I'm circling it on my notes. Forgot to circle it. Now let's talk about total individual team points. The Nuggets are set at 112.5 points in this game. They're locked in at minus 118 for the over, minus 110 for the under. They're averaging 116.8. They're playing exceptional basketball. They've won 4 in a row. I'm taking the over. You're getting worse value at minus 118 versus minus 110, but I'm taking the over. I think they absolutely crush the over. As for the Heat, I am taking the under, in fact. They, Actually, scratch that. I had the wrong thing circled. I'm taking the over for the Heat as well. They're averaging 107.8 on the season, and they haven't played as many bad defenses as the Nuggets. When they do play bad defenses, such as the Nuggets, ranked at number 21 in the league, that's pretty freaking bad. When they play bad defenses like the Nuggets, you would expect their average output to be a little bit higher than it normally is, and their projected value their projected score in this game is lower than their season average. Not only that, you're getting significantly better value with the over than with the under. I'm taking the over on both teams. Now let's discuss the three-way money line. Everyone here knows that I hate the normal money line. I like the three-way money line. I always bet against overtime. even though the Nuggets have gone to overtime in 2 out of their last 3 games, both of their games against the Suns, so far it has benefited me considering the fact that the value is always so much better. For example, approximately 1 out of every 16.5 games this season have gone into overtime, and that means I would only bet on overtime if the value is reported at least plus 1650. It's only steadily reported at plus 1400. That means Vegas considers overtime more likely to happen than it is, and you're not getting good enough value if you were to bet on it. But everything's inversely related here. Because Vegas overvalues overtime, because Vegas, undervalues overtime, they consider it more likely to happen. They overvalue any team winning through 4 quarters. I'm betting on the Nuggets 3-way money line at minus 195 versus their normal money line at minus 230. That is way better value. So I discussed all that stuff. Let's talk about player statistics. Because the Heat are putting together such a ragtag crew of individuals, we don't even know who's starting. We don't know if Goran Dragic is available. He would be starting if he plays. On the Bet Rivers card, again, we only use Bet Rivers to discuss what bets we are taking. On the Bet Rivers card, none of the Heat players are present. Even though we know Bam Adebayo starting, we know he's playing. He might have to, shoulder more of a scoring burden. He might have to do way more on the court if other guys are missing. So Bet Rivers isn't accurately able to report what they think that they will have. So we're only talking Nuggets here. That's what we like to hear anyway. We're a Denver Dollar. We're a Nuggets show. We're a Denver sports show. So we're only discussing Denver, and you're going to take it, you're going to leave it. Starting with Jamal Murray. He's projected 19.5 points in this game, with the over being locked in at minus 120 and the under being locked in at minus 103. I'm taking the under. I know he was on pace to hit the over in the last game when, he was a player in the Nuggets, going for the Nuggets of Tim Hardaway Jr. It was kind of a ballsy move, if you ask me. He was on pace to hit the over. I like the under for him because he's really trending down in points. On the season, he's averaging 19.3, so that is the under, and you're getting better value with the under, and that's only been trending down as of late as well. Sure, last game he scored 16, he was ejected, that might not count, but over the last 15 days, he's only averaging 18.9 points. So that average of 19.3 on the season has been steadily decreasing. I like the under for Jamal Murray, and you're getting better value at minus 103 versus minus 120. As for assists, rebounds, three-pointers, and the player special, I'm taking the over, because while his points are trending down, everything else is trending up. His assist is set at 4.5 in true pick'em fashion, minus 110 for the over, minus 110 for the under. I'm taking the over. On the season, he's averaging 4.3, so he is slightly below that mark. But he's been trending up. Like I just said, over the last 15 days, he's averaging 4.9 assists. And over the last week, he's averaging 5.3 assists. And that includes a game where he got ejected halfway through the third quarter and only had 2 assists. He's really trending up in the assist category, and considering the fact that the value is equal for the over and the under, I'm taking the over. Now let's talk about rebounds. Same goes for rebounds. True pick'em fashion. 110 for the over, 110 for the under. I'm taking the over. On the season, he's averaging 3.8, and that number is only increasing. In the last 15 days, he's averaging 4.6 rebounds, and over the last week, he's averaging 5.3 rebounds. He had 3 rebounds, 0.5 rebounds short of this mark when he got ejected halfway through the third quarter. I'm taking the over in Jamal Murray rebounds. Now, the thing is, well, we would expect some of our starters, if we do truly rout the Heat like we predicted, like Vegas predicts, if we do see the 4 horsemen of garbage time, you would expect, a bunch of these starters who play high minutes in every game to rest a little bit, to not, need to stress themselves on the court, not to need to exert as much energy as they typically do. For Jamal Murray, he's pissed that he got ejected during the game. I'm buying that narrative. I think he's going to come out firing. I think he's going to come out hot. And he only played like 24 minutes because of his injury. He did not play that much at all, not because of his injury, because of his ejection. He really did not play that much at all. He's not really needing to recover from much. Yeah, they had a day-long break, and in the game he played, he didn't really play that much. I like Jamal Murray to be angry and to do a lot. So I'm not so scared of him not doing as much as he normally would due to the potential routing this game has. Now onto his three-pointers. He's projected 2.5 three-pointers, and truthfully, I think he hits the under, but I'm betting the over. The value is there at plus 132 versus minus 162. On the season, he's averaging 2.1. Last game, he hit 2 three-pointers before he was ejected, and he only played like 5/8 of the game. He only played like 5/8 of the minutes he normally would play. I'm taking the over in Jamal Murray three-pointers. I don't think he hits it, but the value is way better than the under. Now let's talk about Jamal Murray's player special. I'm taking the over not because I think his points are going to be very high this game, but I think, he gets a lot of assists and a lot of rebounds. He's set at 28.5 in true pick'em fashion. Again, 110 for the over, 110 for the under, and I'm taking the over. Now let's talk about Gary Harris. Across the board recently, we've been betting on the over for Gary Harris for everything. He is averaging on the season every over that he's projected in every game. And not only that, he's only been trending up. Gary Harris is shooting 46% from the three-point line over the last 2 weeks. That is insane for Gary Harris. Nuggets fans were ready to give up on him, but it's not that he's become a better three-point shooter. It's that he's playing more to his strengths. He's only taking three-pointers from the corner now, and that is it's pretty weird. That's the only place he can hit him. He's truly falling into that PJ Tucker role where he's 3 and D, and when he's taking the 3, it is explicitly from the corner. It's really helped his numbers. So in this game, he's projected 9.5 points in this game, true pick'em fashion. I'm taking the over. On the season, he's averaging 10.9. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 11.6. And over the last week, he's averaging 13. Last game, he had 10. He's getting the over every single time, and you're getting the same value for the over as the under. Take the over. Now he's not listed for assists. He's not much of an assist guy. Let's talk about rebounds. He's projected 2.5 rebounds in this game. I'm taking the over. On the season, he's averaging 2.6. On the last 15 days, he's averaging 3.2. And over the last week, he's averaging 2.7. Last game, he had 3 rebounds. Every single one of those marks is above this mark of 2.5, and you're getting better value with the over at minus 106 than the under of minus 115. Over Gary Harris rebounds. Next, three-pointers. Last game, he hit 2 3-pointers. I'm confident in Gary Harris's three-point ability, more so than I've been at any point in the season. I'm taking the over, and you're getting really good value with the over at plus 118. On the season, he's averaging exactly 1.5, but over the last 15 days, he's averaging 2.2 made three-pointers. And you're getting better value with the over than the under at plus 118 versus minus 143. This is a bet we won on, 2 nights ago. This is a bet we've won on consistently over the past 2 weeks. We're taking it yet again, Gary Harris over three-pointers. Another one for Gary Harris. This is the only one that we're not getting better value with the over than with the under, is Gary Harris player special. He's projected 13.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds in this game. We're taking the over at minus 120. On the season, he's averaging 15 combined, and that's only been trending up. He's averaging 15 on the season. Over the last 15 days, he's averaging 16.4, and over the last week, he's averaging 17.7 combined points, assists, and rebounds. It'd be foolish not to expect him to get at least that mark of 13.5. Now let's talk about Will Barton. I'm less confident in Will Barton because I said that he's going to play because he's not really a starter that the Nuggets really care about that much. They'd value Michael Porter Jr. way more at that small forward position. And in addition to that, PJ Dozier's absence will get Will the Thrill Barton more minutes in this game. So normally I would bet the under on a lot of his stats, but I'm not so confident in doing that. The only bet I like for him is Will Barton rebounds at 4.5. I'm taking the over because I think it's good enough value at plus 118. We saw Will Barton playing a little bit of the 4, which is crazy. He shouldn't be. But PJ Dozier was playing the 4, which is crazy. He shouldn't be. But when PJ Dozier was out, Will Barton was taking his kind of role, and he was playing the goddamn 4. That means he's going to be, in the paint a lot. He's going to have the opportunity to get rebounds. When PJ Dozier was out in the last game, Will Barton played well. He got 7 rebounds. Now in the season, he's averaging 4.2, but that's only been trending up ever so slightly. Over the past week, he's averaging 4.3. But like I said, I think his role in this game leads me to believe that he hits the over, and you're getting excellent value on the over of plus 118 versus minus 143 for the under. On the over of Will Barton rebounds over 4.5, I'm taking it. Now, this has been a controversial figure on the Denver dollar. He's been a roller coaster of emotions. At first, I took the over on every single bet of his, and they were hitting beautifully. But I don't know if he's washed. I don't know if he's hurt, and it's not being reported. Paul Millsap is only getting 20 minutes per game as of late, and it's explicitly 20 minutes per game. In the last game against the Suns, he had 18 first half minutes, only 2 minutes in the second half, didn't play in the fourth quarter, finished the game with 20 minutes. In this last game against the Dallas Mavericks, he had 16 minutes in the first half, 4 minutes in the second half, no minutes in the fourth quarter. Coach Malone does not want him in the fourth quarter, and Coach Malone does not want him playing when it matters. Why he gets to start, I don't know. But that was not what it was like at the beginning of the season. Maybe it was because they were easing JaMychal Green into the Denver Nuggets, roster. They were trying to figure out how he fits on the court. JaMychal Green is playing excellent ball, and he's really taking minutes away from Paul Millsap. So, where at the beginning of the season I was hound every over for Paul Millsap, and that was something I was exceedingly confident in, I have now kind of adopted that strategy into hound every under. Why the hell he's only getting 20 minutes per game? We only have 3 competent big men on the team. Isaiah Hartenstein, is leading the entire league in fouls per minute. We can't put him in. We put him in to give Jokic a break. He fouls out in 12 minutes. We saw that happen this season. He doesn't give Jokic a break, and he ruins things for the Nuggets. As of now, he's out of the rotation, which means, wouldn't you expect one of our other big guys, Paul Millsap, sitting at 6'8", he's a true power forward. He can hold down the center in today's modern brand of basketball. Wouldn't you expect him to get more minutes? Coach Malone is still figuring out his rotations. I think that he could play more minutes, but he's not. He's only capped at 20 minutes. Let's take the under for almost everything. Points, 7.5, true pick'em fashion. I'm taking the under. Rebounds, 4.5. You're getting terrible value with the under. I'm actually not taking the under in his rebounds. But 3-pointers, set at 0.5 3-pointers. He's averaging 1.2 3-pointers on the season. This used to be my favorite bet for the Nuggets, over on Paul Millsap 3-pointers. Guess what? I'm now taking the under that he makes less than 1 3-pointer in this game. He hasn't made a 3-pointer over the past week. You're getting better value with the under than the over at plus 115, than the over at minus 139. Could burn us because all he needs to do is shoot 1 and make 1 3-pointer. But I'm taking the under. He hasn't made one in the past week. You're getting way better value with the under. Now, in terms of player special, combined points, assists, and rebounds, I'm taking the under at plus 100 versus minus 121 for the over. You're getting better value with the under. In the last game, he secured 8 total. He's really been trending down, and he's not even getting any minutes. I'm taking the under. You're getting better value. Another player that I'm sad to report, I'm taking the under for everything on Nikola Jokic in this game. He's set at 22.5 points. I'm taking the under in true pick'em fashion at minus 110. He's set at 7.5 assists. I'm taking the under at minus 110. He's set at 10.5 rebounds. I'm taking the under at plus 104. He's set at 0.5 3-pointers. I'm taking the under at plus 152. He is set at player special, 40.5 combined points, assists, and rebounds. I'm taking the under at minus 103. Why would I do that for our consistently best player? Listen, Nikola Jokic is going to get hurt the most if the 4 horsemen of garbage time play. He's played so many minutes as of late. Those 2 overtime games against the Suns, he was in the game almost the whole game. He was playing over 40 minutes in both of those games. The last game against the Mavs, he had to play a ton. He's probably begging for rest. It's not that he seems exhausted, but he's going to be the first player in line to sit if the Nuggets are up big, and that is why I'm not taking the over on anything for Nikola Jokic. Obviously, he's capable. Obviously, if he's playing his normal full minutes, he would hit these marks, but I can't do it today. That also leads me to do something crazy. Nikola Jokic has gotten a double-double in 17 out of 17 games this season. That's better than anyone in the league. He's a double-double monster. Normally, no matter what the odds are, I tell you to take him in a double-double because at this point, he's more likely to get a double-double than the sun is to set on the west. He gets a double-double. It's a 100% hit rate on him getting a double-double. This is something that I encourage heavily. But for the reasons I just said, he's going to be the first guy to sit. And when he is on the court, he's going to ensure a Nuggets win. But he's not going to need to stress himself. He's not going to need to exert himself that much. This is the first game of the season that I am saying don't bet on a Nikola Jokic double-double. In fact, I'm betting on him not to get a double-double. The value's there at plus 175 for him not to get a double-double. I think he does get a double-double in this game. But there are so many different obstacles that could prevent him in this game not to get a double-double that haven't really come up in the past. So it's a great opportunity to hop off that train for maybe just one game, and the value is absolutely there. Nikola Jokic triple-double. I normally advise that you take a triple-double for Nikola Jokic every game. Guess what? Not this game. That has been the player specials. That has been the player props. On to our patented tip-off analysis. On the season, we are 13 of 17, predicting who will win the tip-off. Let's make it 14 of 18. We're picking Bam Adebayo to beat Nikola Jokic on this tip-off. Now, Bam only has a wingspan of 7'1", whereas Jokic has a wingspan of 7'3". But in Bam Adebayo's draft in 2017, he had a 33.5-inch standing vertical. That was as high, and that was tied for number one in the entire draft. He was the most athletic dude in the entire draft. So yeah, he's 2 inches shorter than Nikola Jokic, but his standing vert is sure to accommodate for that. In fact, of his last 5 games, Bam Adebayo has won 4 out of the last 5 tip-offs, and albeit none of them have been against common opponents that the Nuggets have also played against, but Bam Adebayo is an athletic freak, and I'm taking him to win this tip-off. That means I'm betting on the Heat to score first in this game. If you bet on the Nuggets, you're locked in at minus 114. If you bet on the Heat, you're locked in at minus 107. So I think the Heat will have possession first, and you're getting better value with the Heat to score first. They will have every opportunity to score first, considering they're getting the ball first, and at minus 107, that's good enough value that we're taking it. Now, of those 4 out of 5 games, in those 4 games that Bam Adebayo won the tip-off, he scored the first basket in 3 of those 4 games. Putting $5 on Bam Adebayo to score first at plus 600, that's the riskiest bet that we're taking this entire game. I would totally expect to lose that $5, but plus 600, the payout is worth it, and I don't think it's a fluke that while all these guys are absent, he's the one scoring first. I like that bet, and that has been my tip-off analysis. Let's go 14 of 18 on predicting who will win the tip-off this NBA season. Thank you so much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Please watch the game tonight. Please like and subscribe. Tell any of your friends who are into sports betting to give me a listen. You know, as good as I am about player analysis, what I really thrive in is the statistical research. I put in 2 hours every day making my notes look like this. You know, I put my time in, and if you've been betting on me, you've been sure to see it pay off. Tell your friends about the show. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in 2 days for Game 5 of the Nuggets' 5-game road streak. God bless, and stay scared, stay wary of the 4 horsemen of the garbage time. Thank you.